Today we're at Bryce's house because I'm gonna build some acoustic panels for his little drum room. Wow, it really is echoey in here.
Yeah, it's like drumming in a cave. Especially when only using one room mic, which, by the way, what is that thing?
I'm glad you asked. This is actually the new Apogee hype mic, but more on that later. I'm grabbing all of the random odd pieces of plywood that I have and ripping them down to 3 inches. 3.5 would probably be better just because of the size of the insulation we're using, but his room is kind of small, so we wanted to maximize every literal inch of the space. And after ripping down a million strips, I take them to the miter saw and cut them to length. After that, I sanded my life away because it's a lot easier to sand these pieces before they're assembled, and really I just wanted to clean up any fuzz that was left over from cutting them, and also to break the sharp edges so they're a lot easier to handle, especially when adding the fabric. And to put them together, I'm just using butt joints with glue and brad nails. I thought about coming back and adding screws, but I said, screw it, glue and nails are fine. Then here, I'm cutting up all of these strips to fit inside of the panel. Half of them will be for a place to mount them to the wall. I'll be using some Z-clips and need a place to screw them to the panel. Then I added a middle support to stiffen up the frame. Now we're on to the back side, so this side will be against the wall, and this fabric is actually weed barrier, which you can find at any hardware store, so this will keep the insulation from coming out of the back, and just tidies up the look in case you do have X-ray vision. Then for the insulation, we went with Roxul Safe and Sound. There are a lot of options when making panels, so just do your own research on what will work best for you and your application. Now on to the front of the panels. This is something I saw on another YouTube video, but they use window screen mesh to help hold the shape of the insulation and to keep the fabric on the outside looking tight and smooth. And I think this will really help, especially in my case where I had to cut up all the insulation to fit it all in. Also, I gotta say that I bought this pneumatic T50 stapler just for this job, and just looking back and thinking about the amount of staples I would have to do by hand with one of these things makes me very happy that I bought this thing. So even if you're just building one of these panels, then I highly recommend getting one of these things. Not a sponsor, but this thing is great. You know who is the sponsor of this video though? Apogee. For this entire video, I've been using the Apogee Hype Mic, which is a USB mic with 3 built-in compressor settings. Shape mode, squeeze mode, which is what I've been using, and smash mode. Or, of course, you can have it off. So this mic would be great for conference calls, podcasting, or live streaming, or you can use it on the go with your iPhone or iPad. It comes with all the USB cables you would ever need, plus a tripod, ball head mount, which you can mount onto another stand, pop filter, and case. And as you can see, this thing is like tiny. It's smaller than my hand, so this will definitely be my go-to on-the-go mic, especially because I can use it with my phone. So if you're interested in checking out the Hype mic for yourself or just want to learn more about it, you can follow the link down below in the description. So now let's staple some fabric on these panels. Honestly, this part sucked and took way longer than I thought, but through the power of editing, I'm done. Or at least done with the fabric. Like I mentioned before, I'm using Z-clips to mount the panels, so pretend this table is the wall. Oh, there we go. The bottom clip is screwed to the wall, and the top is screwed to the panel, so once they slide in, the weight of the panel is what holds the panel in place. Super simple. And I'm actually spacing the clips off of the panels a bit to get an air gap between the panel and the wall, which helps with sound. I'm no expert on acoustics, but I'm sure everyone in the comment section is, so just scroll down and I'm sure someone will explain it. But since these spacers are on the top of the panel, I had to make some other spacers for the middle so that the panel sits parallel to the wall. And finally, we can teleport to Bryce's house and mount these panels. So now that these panels are mounted on the wall, let's unmount them and hear the room with no treatment first. Man, well, it does sound better in here now.
Yeah, sounds pretty great.
Cool, so you gonna pay me for these?
Yeah, can I pay you in exposure?